You know how in school, in high school, you had to write book reports
Yes.
and you hadn't read the book?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes that happens in adult life too.
Except I couldn't find the Spark Notes on this.
There's a super summary.
The Spark Notes.
There is a super summary.
I did
for
look
it.
for Spark Notes.
Super summary makes one.
That's because it's not an academic book yet.
I didn't read it because I prefer the way you tell stories.
Oh, thank you.
I
I
actually
think that
love
you are
listening.
a superior storyteller.
All right. Well, I guess we have to start with the introduction.
I'm Kate.
That wasn't me. That was Hannah. Hi, I'm Kate.
And I'm Rachel.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is Feast.
Sheath.
And shut up.
Is it hot in here or is it just me tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety? Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us? Or is that a dagger? It's feast, sheath, shatter. It's feast, sheath, shatter.
There, we made it.
Okay, also, thank you for joining us today on Feast, Sheath, and Shatter. Today we will be going over Bloodmarked.
By Tracy Deonn.
Yeah.
It was not bad. It was good.
Yeah.
The first part was rough.
Does it pick up right where Legendborn leaves off?
Yeah, sort of. It's like maybe a couple weeks later. And she's in the lodge and she's all mad because everybody is out looking for Nick or patrolling because at the very end of the first book, Nick disappears. And she's been forced to stay behind because she doesn't know how to use her power. And so she keeps sneaking out and getting
Inexcusable.
getting through 2 of the wards and then practicing her magic. And she's like, it's cool. William, the one Scion, follows me out there. So clearly he's my friend and he's not telling me not to. And Selwyn keeps telling her, like, he can't tell you no. You're literally the king. And he has to do what you say. And you are forcing him to put himself in danger. And she's like, I'm 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Selwyn nice to her now?
No.
Or is he still like
In his 17
mean?
years.
I realized something while I was reading this book. He's actually 18. Just a second.
Oh.
So they can't date.
Correct. Correctish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where things get weird. You know,
Yeah.
519. Okay.
Well, he's not 500.
18, 16.
Not
No.
Not okay.
No. Even though objectively the difference is far less. But he
Is that an objective thing?
No.
I think that's just
legal facts.
facts.
legally.
Yeah.
Yeah. He okay, so I got like 2/3 of the way through this book and I was texting a friend who's read it and I was like,
Did they
Selwyn-
enjoy it?
She liked it okay. And I said, Selwyn is completely wasted in this book. He is completely wasted in this book. He needs to be like in a book where everybody is 20 plus and he gets to be the like dark
Broody Shadow Daddy?
broody shadow daddy is exactly what he needs to be. But he's in this book and I'm like, I have
Shadow Daddy.
Cute.
I love that.
yeah, he needs to be the Lorcan in another high fantasy book is what he needs to be. And instead he's
People love him,
in
his
this
character.
book. Yeah, because he's a great character. And Bree could be a cool character, but I'm back to the same problem I had with the first book, which is why is everyone 16? She turns 17 in this book.
Yay.
So it's a young adult's book.
It's a young adult book. I think you could have had them young adult and have them all be 18 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the subject matter that we deal with, because we go even more into like the difference between the quote colonizer magic and the rootcraft magic that she can also use. And we actually go to a plantation that descendants of enslaved people purchase and like create this safe haven for people who are running from the order.
Mm.
And it's a really cool idea, and I really love the world that she builds. But I can't imagine reading this as a 16-year-old and appreciating everything that she's putting into this book.
Mm.
I mean, I think a 16-year-old could grasp the complexity of like the power structure, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like kids these days are way more in tuned than other people
In other times.
Old
in other
people?
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not me as a 16-year-old, but
Yeah.
like I don't know. We just deal with a lot of really heavy topics. And I don't know. I think it's great that she wrote it. I think it's a great book. I just don't think it's the book that we all clicked with, obviously, because and maybe when you do read it, we can do an update.
Yeah.
See how you feel about it.
I thought about just pretending that I had and seeing how far I could get along in this discussion.
Without actually having read it.
Just to test my own skills at bullshittery.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Then you could have been the character
can't
that's like
You would have
lying
been
to
a
everybody.
liar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we all get mad at you and we have to break up for a little while.
Well, you would never know.
And then we
I would have
realize
to tell you.
you were only lying for our best interest, and then we bring you back.
Wait, is this a book?
This
Yeah.
is every book
Did
we've
we
read, the last
read
3
this?
books we've read.
Did you feel betrayed and then realize that I really loved you?
Yes. The third act breakup. Thank you so much, Anna.
Yeah.
We start this whole book opens kind of first we have the thing where she goes out of the wards and she's practicing or whatever. And then the regents and the king's guard, so like the mage guard, the like high up Merlins all show up and they save her life because she gets attacked by this pack of foxes, the like evil demon foxes, and she has to flee up this tree, and they find her in this tree. And so she's having this whole conversation from this tree with this huge group of people that have just saved her life. And they're basically like, well, Selwyn let you do this. He let you go out. He let you get into trouble. And so we're going to arrest him. And she's like, no, I did it by myself. And he's like, no, actually, I should have stopped you. And you wouldn't stop. And that's actually my fault. And so, yes, I'm going to go to prison for you. And anyway, then he ends up fleeing. And they're like, okay, well, let's go ahead and do the king thing where we make you king right now. And we'll just get that out of the way. And then we can all get back to our lives because war is coming. And so they get her to pull Excalibur from the stone and do the ceremony. And like halfway through the ceremony, they drug her and take her to this thing called the Institute. And they make it so she can't use her powers. And so she ends up at the Institute for a while. And then it turns out there's a subgroup in the order, the lieges that we talked about last time, who are the people who have retired from active service, have like a group because they don't actually trust the regents and they break her out. And then everybody's trying to kill her the whole book. And she ends up going to this place called the Crossroads Lounge the Crossroads Lounge, which is actually like a little lounge at this crossroads, kind of like you go to the crossroads to do a bargain with the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in Supernatural.
Correct. And we find out that like the world of magic is far bigger. It's not just rootcraft people and order people.
Sure.
It's people who come and bargain power from demons or bargain away things for other gain. And there's actually like a huge community of people that can interact with magic who are not bound by either rules. And we actually meet another person kind of like Selwyn, whose name is either, I think it's Valchek or Valchez or Valek for short, or V for short. And Brianna gets another nickname in this book, and it's Maddie for her last name, which is Matthews. So she now has 3 nicknames.
Good.
Yeah. And he's pretty cool because he's actually like half demon, half human. He's not like Sel, who has like a tiny bit, which again, Selwyn's tiny bit of demon ancestry is an incubus.
Yes.
That's cool.
Which is cool.
Sounds like another shadow daddy I know.
Were we working with a like 18 plus group, but instead we throw this incubus in and we have a couple of near misses with our 16-year-old character, which he's 18 and she's 16. And yeah, it happens. That's fine. But like, I don't want to, I don't know. It made me feel like, oh, I'm glad we just stopped at kissing.
Yeah.
And yet I want Selwyn in a book where I don't want him to stop at kissing. Like I want him transposed into a world where I feel okay about the way she writes this. I don't know how to describe this. He's the type of character I would normally really be happy to find in a romance because I'm like, oh, good, the dark broken one. That's my favorite. And yet he's in this book where I don't want him to be with anybody. And he ends up, he doesn't have Nick, and the only way he can hold himself in balance is by protecting Nick, and he doesn't have Nick to protect. So he's like slowly becoming more demon throughout the whole book.
Ooh.
And at the end, he gives up all of his humanity to save her because Arthur is like, hey, if you just like let me in, I'll teach you how to use all of my powers. Like, you don't have to learn. I already know. I'll tell you how to do it. And she's like, And she tells him no all the way through the book until the very end. And she finally lets him in. And he's like, haha, got you. And so he ends up taking over her body. And they have to get her body back. And so to get her body back and put her back in it, he gives up his humanity. And that's where we end the book.
So there is going to be
There's another
book
one. It's coming out in 2025. This one came out in 2022. So
Wow.
a year ago in November.
Which is kind of like the opposite of what we've talked about before about authors just like
Throwing them out.
spitting them out.
Authors
These are
that
so
are
complex,
with good, like reasonable publishers know that it takes a long time to put
write
out a good book.
Yeah.
Like anyone other than Red Tower, like Bloomsbury's not going to put out a shit book.
Yeah.
Right.
They're going to want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sounds like she's got an edit. Like it takes time to write
Yeah, that's
the book.
good.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
And also, just because we're here, it is so often that I feel like a lot of times when people are new to reading, right?
Yeah.
Like say a particular book about dragons reawakened your love for reading.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you have to wait for another book. People who read stories know what it feels like to wait. It is a part of being a reader to have to wait. Imagine if you got Red Throne of Glass in 2008 or 12.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were a Philip Rothfuss reader.
Oh my God.
Or a Game of Thrones reader.
Yeah. You
right?
wait decades.
And you might not ever get the end of your damn book.
Yeah.
That's
And you just learn
my
to
worst
wait.
nightmare.
Like we're not going to get an end to some of these books. So
Yeah.
I am like, I mean, maybe it's because I'm, fucking 40 now. But it's like, I want to wait. I would rather wait
For a better book.
for a better book.
yes.
I would rather wait. And I see so many people being like, how am I going to wait? Well, you're going to wait.
Yeah.
You're gonna
You
read
have to
something
wait.
else in the meantime.
And you should want to wait.
Yeah. For a good book.
You shouldn't be sad that the fourth wing isn't coming out in January.
Right.
Like let
Where's
the bitch
third
cook.
one?
Yeah.
Because I don't mean bitch as in like
Yeah.
a derogatory way. I mean
the
it
book.
in like a
the third book.
the
bitch.
third book. Let
Yeah.
it cook. Let
Yeah.
it brew. Let her come to the story on her own. Don't rush an author.
Yeah. Tracy Deonn isn't writing one of these every year. No way.
And even if she's always thinking about it, it takes time for her to find the story.
Yeah. And this is
And-
complex.
Right.
And everything felt intentional every time we moved to the next area. Nothing felt like we were shoehorning the characters into the next section.
Mm-hmm.
I got frustrated with Brianna, but that's because she's a good character and she's acting.
According
to-
to her maturity level.
Yes. And yet I was meant to feel frustrated.
Yes, you're
And-
supposed to feel that.
And
yeah.
part of like Arthur is actually keeping her from being able to use her magic. So we're supposed to feel that frustration because that's what Arthur wants her to feel. It's what she wants the reader to feel because she wants her to get so frustrated she lets him in.
Right.
And
Like there's no other way.
right.
Right.
And it makes a lot of sense. And of course, my complaint is just the age level, but it's still a good book.
Right.
It's still fine. It's just my personal discomfort with reading these situations with characters that are so young.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that comes back, if we're like circling back to why it was really hard to cling to the story. It's if you aren't able to read something that you don't feel invested in, then like it's like your brain doesn't work.
Right.
Sorry.
Is that you?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's like trying to watch a TV show that's boring.
Right.
You're not going to keep reading. You're not going to keep watching the television show if you don't like it. And so if you don't like the book, it's hard to keep reading it. And that's fine. It's okay to not finish TV shows and books. And it's not because we didn't, I mean, this was the wrong book, maybe the right book at the wrong time.
Yeah, and I think there would be a time that after we get through our ACOTAR reread next year.
Brushes hair.
I was waiting for the right time to bring that up.
Wait, we didn't read it with Hannah.
I know. That's why I'm like,
right.
we got to. Sorry, I don't mean to be so intense. I'm sorry. Let me bring it down. I haven't had my ADHD meds in a minute, so I'm like super hyperactive. It doesn't go away.
No. You didn't get better?
I didn't heal.
Like antibiotics?
Yeah, I didn't.
You didn't heal?
It didn't go away.
What?
But yeah, I would love to revisit that. And I will read it on my own time. I just got another credit today
Yay.
on Audible, so I might pick it up. I almost texted you. I logged in. I snuck into Hannah's Audible to see if she had the second one, but you don't.
No.
No, because we decided we didn't like the audiobooks of this one.
I wasn't a huge
because
fan.
I was like, I have to see the words of this book.
Yeah.
I started Iron Flame. I can't imagine listening to that, like the audiobook of Iron Flame.
I did fine with that.
It's fine, but it's not the best.
I did fine because I know the characters. So once you already understand a world and you're not trying to, like, you already know your characters and you already understand your world, it's much easier.
Yeah.
But it's that, and that's what's so hard with Audible books, is that when you're trying to get into a world and a new universe via an Audible book, it can be hard.
Yeah.
It can be really hard.
Oh, we do find out there's a shadow court. Back to this book.
I love a court.
Yeah.
I love a
shadow court.
A court of shadows?
And yes, and Arthur defeated the king like forever ago.
So is Arthur a good guy or a bad guy?
He is out for his own ends.
Oh, so it's like an analogy
Yeah.
of other white dudes.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm reading
it. It's
it.
good. And I won't tell you who the Shadow King is then.
But
If
does,
you're gonna read
Is
does
it
Nick show up?
Morrigan?
No.
Is
We do
it
find
is an
Morgaine,
Arthurian
though.
legend character?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just a random guy. Yeah.
But it will ruin it if you tell us.
No.
Is
But I
Shadow-
know you guys don't like spoilers, and if you're going to read it, I won't spoil it for you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Because it's kind of the reveal at the end.
It's the thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The hook for the next book.
Okay.
Yep. Because we find out more about the pact that her ancestor made. Because her ancestor made that deal.
Uh-huh.
One daughter at a time for all
Oh
time.
yeah, that's crazy.
For them to be able to have all those powers. But she meets Valchez, and his whole purpose is like he moderates deals between demons to make sure that everybody stays on like legal terms. Like he calls it unsanctioned or sanctioned and unsanctioned deals.
Yeah, he's like a judge.
He's like
he's a referee.
a broker kind
Yeah,
of.
he's a broker.
Yeah. And so he makes sure that everybody, stays, make sure that there's not unclear wording that can be misinterpreted. Kind of like if you were trying to make a bargain with the Fae and somebody showed up
Yeah.
and was like, no, that's not how you want to
You
word
need
that.
to. We need to
Yeah.
add some sub clauses.
Yeah.
here.
We need to
Yeah.
lock that down because
Yeah.
they're going to take
This
advantage
is
of you here.
way too vague.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd be helpful.
You know what she's gonna do? She's going to say she doesn't have to release you. I was talking about Amarantha. It's fine.
I know.
I know.
But he mentions that sometimes when you make a deal like that, you don't specify who you're making the deal with. Someone will show up and make a deal with you that you don't want to make the deal with. And that's what happened to Vera.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they find Nick?
They do by the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is she not in love with him anymore?
Well, she is. She is.
So is it a love triangle
A bit love triangle-y.
with Selwyn and Nick?
Which, again, I'd be
Would
all
you
like,
call it,
what?
like-
Choose! I'd be so excited. And yet, here we are. Everyone's 16.
They're children.
And I'm
Okay,
like you
so this
dirty
is
old
a
woman stuff
really-
asking for these people to all be together. Sorry.
Yeah. So we. It was like the singing of the why choose.
Thank you.
I think this is a really great place to insert this conversation that I was going to bring up tonight anyways. You guys aren't spending 14 hours a day on TikTok like I am. It's a really low period for me, but there's this thing that happened on TikTok in the last book talk in the last week where a bunch of book talk ladies, a lot of the dark romance girls like masks or helmets. And they found this little motorcyclist with a motorcycle, and they started making all these comments in his comment section like, ooh, book talk, here we are, la la la. And they started making some really inappropriate comments. And this was a 16-year-old child.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a 16-year-old child. I didn't even go to it because it grossed me out. I didn't really learn about it. I only saw the TikToks of women talking about it.
Uh-huh.
But I think there is this thing that happens when we are always talking about. I mean, this entire podcast is spicy in nature and smutty in nature. And I think this thing happens where it becomes so normal for us. When we go to these YA books, it's hard to go
put the
back.
brakes on.
Yeah.
And then there's this collective saying, well, not everything has to be spicy. Not everything has to be smutty. You don't always have to have, you can fade to black. You can just kiss. You can.
Sure.
And so that's just that's a great point with these books is when that is what entertains you. And that's when you expect from entertainment.
Yeah.
And that's not there. Can you even read the book?
I
could not.
I could
And that's
not.
probably that's not entirely why. It's been a rough month.
Yeah, it's a difficult season of your life.
It's a difficult season.
Difficult season for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's happening in the world. Is that skirt scalloped?
Yeah.
Neat. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because I think that's so relevant to the kinds of books that we're typically reading, the kind of women that we are, like what we like to read. But we don't do dark romance.
No.
And we probably won't do dark romance on this book.
I enjoyed it without it. I just found myself wishing that I was in a situation where that was going to happen. But I know it's not going to, and I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was just like, dang, I wish they were like 20 and up.
It's really hard to connect with kids.
Yeah.
And when even at 16 and 17, when you are a young adult, like you are actually still a child, like a little kid.
Well, your frontal lobe isn't even fully developed.
I mean, even till 25.
Yeah.
They say people with ADHD, it's not until your 30s. Did you know that?
You're peaking. You peaked.
I peaked. It's 5 years ago. But yeah, it just, I think it's hard to connect sometimes with younger folk.
Yeah.
And to be aware of what our expectations are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel sad for the little kid with the motorcycle helmet that got harassed.
That's
and it was like dark romance people.
Yeah. I mean, that's something where we have a lot of fun with it and I enjoy our conversations about it, but we have to realize that like the book boyfriends, the 7 foot tall, meaty, beefy, giant dick dudes, that's the same as having like women in armor with nothing but bras and panties, and like that's the same kind of objectification that happens to women.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna push a little bit on that. Those men are never just that.
Yeah,
and they're not two-dimensional characters.
They're not pigeonholed in the same way that women are because it's not as endemic in our society as women objectification is.
Right.
But we have to be careful that in finding our feet as like vocal sexual beings, we don't flip the script
and objectify young young dudes.
Yeah.
Man.
Sorry, Hannah.
Well, and that's the thing. Like Resand, let's just take the Bat Boys.
Resand?
Rysand. The Bat Boys are a great example. They are fully fleshed out characters. They are not just the emotional intelligence. They're more emotionally mature because they're 500.
Yeah.
And, you know, with that much time comes maturity.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Mostly.
Usually.
Right. But yeah, I think about that a lot. And is it somebody called spicy books porn the other day, and I already have a hard time with that. I'm like, no, it isn't. Mm-mm. But I always think about it like, is it? No.
There are some, so like the Necromancer's Bride, I would probably slot more towards the porn end of the spectrum than towards the like literary spice side of the spectrum.
Right.
Because there weren't really characters. It was like the plumber showed up at the house.
Yes.
And oops, he forgot his pants. Like that's...
Yeah, and then there was the flubber. And
Oh, look, I seem to have made this thing that will allow me to masturbate. Here you go. And so, I mean, that was...
Flubber.
The flubber. So that was more, if I had to classify anything we've read as porn, maybe that.
Definitely.
But it's like having...
and it felt like that. That was also our only book with butt stuff.
Right. Exactly. But, I mean, to me, like, okay, so the point of that book was the sex. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the books that we read, the point isn't the sex.
Yeah.
The point is the characters. And we're happy they're getting together because we want to see these characters be happy and be intimate. Yes. And also watch them doing it. Yeah. But that's not, where I'm getting with this is like, it's like watching a movie, like an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Where we might have, like if you watch the 70s movies, there's far more sex in 70s movies than there are in today's movies. And so you would have more graphic sex scenes. So to me, it feels more, yes. Yeah. Go watch Carrie, like the opening to the original Carrie. It's like full on nude teenagers.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like
I do remember that.
Nudity.
I do not remember
like
that.
16-year-olds, 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Yeah.
Like with Sissy Spacek?
Yeah.
Straight nudity. And so I read a really good article about like the death of the American sex scene and how we had very graphic sex scenes. And so for a while we went away from it, in books, in movies, and everything. And now we're like veering back.
Yeah, because it's like what is artful and what is gratuitous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember seeing Jerry Maguire. There was a sex scene in that. And I remember being younger and being like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And just when is it necessary and when is it not? But what's great, what I think the connection to the books and reading about it is you're not just watching it, you're also feeling
you're seeing it from the character's point
and it's
of
an
view.
Emotional connection. Like it's that turkey. Remember how I read the turkey were turkey?
Yeah. Stuffed.
The stuffed were turkey?
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. That book, a dude wrote that.
Yeah.
And it was literally just sex and they didn't even have like a romantic attraction. And I was like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a shit. I'm not there for the P and the V or the P and the whatever or the V and the V or the whatever.
Yeah.
I am there for the emotional connection that makes that bonding extra magical.
Right.
I am not here for you. I don't want to just watch it.
Which is why I wouldn't classify it as porn.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because it's an emotional attachment.
Yeah.
And the relationships aren't fun without the love.
Yes.
Stuffed.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like 10 pages long. You should read it.
10
Okay.
pages.
I'll read it at work tomorrow.
It feels like one of those things the dude was like, oh, I'm
Don't you
gonna
get
put
paid
this
hourly? Aren't you like an employee?
Sure am.
up. What? It's fine.
For now.
If you give 75%.
Until I get caught reading Stuffed on my work computer.
Yeah.
if you give 100% all the time, then when they want more, you got to give 120. But if you ride at a solid 75, then when they want more, you've only got to crank it up to 85.
That's a very strategic way of approaching work life. That's smart.
I hope my boss doesn't listen to this episode.
He doesn't, but his wife does.
Hey, girl.
I'm sure Hannah's always at 110.
Always.
100%. 100% of 110% of the time.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I think maybe that I'm trying to bring this back to Bloodmarked because
Right.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, remember that book? Yeah. I think this one was really worth reading for a different reason from what we normally read books for. So there's no spice. There's some kissing, which she does a really good job describing. And if you just squint a little and pretend they're a little bit older, you can make it through it. And what I thought was really amazing about this book is I loved reading a book from a person of color author who had a person of color main character, two main characters. And we have several situations where like they go into a gas station in Georgia and the white guy with them is allowed to use the bathroom and she's not. And he's like, okay, well, why not? And she's like, no, we're not going to, she's like, it's a war and we don't need to win this battle right now. Like we just need to go. And they have a line later where he's like, well, I was born into this fight, like the fight with the Order. And she's like, we were all born into fights. Like we were all born into wars.
Yeah.
And I loved having that point of view that I could live in for a while.
Yeah.
And not feeling like this is a white person pretending they know what it's like.
Right.
Like I'm actually getting to ride along on that. And
Yeah.
I really found that to be like just a wonderful part of this book.
Like super compelling.
Super compelling because I was like, thank you. Like this is a point of view I don't get to live in. And it felt very authentic to me because it is authentic.
Right.
And there's a scene where they go to Volition and like she's the only one allowed in the house. The other people in her group are not allowed in the house because they're like, sorry, but only people who are descended from enslaved people can come in this house because like that's what the ancestors have decided and we have to respect them.
Right.
And they all do. They're like, cool, no problem. And then she gets handcuffed or like chained just off the property. And there's like an earthquake because they're like, never again. Like nobody on this land will ever be chained again. And you're just like, wow, this is such an like, I absolutely love this. And I'm so thankful that it's not a white person writing it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I got chills over that.
It was really good. That whole scene was like, okay, I really like this because it's I love how much more her magic is about asking and about consent.
Instead of taking.
And it's about connecting with her past and with her ancestors. And there's a part where they're trying to track her ancestry because they're trying to figure out if there's any other scions of Arthur. But they can't because all of her ancestors past a certain point are only first names because she's descended from enslaved people and they didn't record their last names.
Right.
And so it's like she can't connect with her own past just in the way I could, where I could go back and have like, I could go on ancestry.com and figure out where I came from in Scotland and whatever. But she can't because there's no way to track it. Because at a certain point, her entire history was uprooted and put in a new place and then just not recorded.
Right.
But she has this very visceral connection to her ancestors through her magic and through the land that she's on and through the people around her. And it's just a really cool idea. And I think it's a wonderful world building like technique for Tracy Deonn to use to incorporate all of this.
Maybe we can revisit it another time.
We absolutely can. I mean, the next one's going to come out in 2025. So we could even do it as a lead up
ready
to
then.
that.
I'll be ready.
You'll be ready?
I'll be ready.
I think we had all been prepared to read 2 other books. And we switched direction, which was fine. And now we're going to switch direction back. And hopefully that clears the clog and we can all like reconnect.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Because Crescent City is what's after December. So the twinkle just came back in Kate's eyes. She's like, Crescent City. Look, I already bought House of Sky and Breath. See?
I've been staring at it this entire time.
So beautiful.
It's beautiful.
She's so pretty. Yeah. Well, I want to do that. So we'll reread again.
Yeah.
I'll read them.
We're going
and
to
then
come back
we can
to
come
these.
back to
You just needed an unchallenging book right now because when life is challenging, you don't want to be challenged in fiction too.
Yeah. I think a lot of it was I just didn't have the bandwidth to immerse in something new.
Yeah. Something new and very complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to learn a whole new world for this one.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of cult documentaries and I'm
They're
always like,
so good.
it would not
man.
work on me.
Oh, no, it wouldn't.
It works so good on me. I'm like created for cult life.
Yeah.
It's the Aquarius and the Pisces all blended together, plus the Taurus loyalty. I'm just like, I just want to be in this cult. Can I help stir the Kool-Aid, please?
Yeah.
I want to believe in something. I want to feel connected. Yeah.
Yeah, and also you wouldn't be in a cult that, was horrible to certain groups of individuals. I just don't see you drinking that Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Mm-mm. But that's the thing that cults do that's so harmful is that the harm isn't it's not apparent.
Absolutely.
It's very, very subtle. And you don't realize the harm oftentimes until you're away from it and you're looking at the decision-making processes. And you're like, oh, yeah, that was pretty harmful.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
They trick you.
They get you. It always starts with a... Have you guys been watching the Twin Flames
I
one?
watched the Twin Flames
So
one.
I listened to that. That was a podcast. I listened to that podcast. And then there's 2 documentaries out about it, I think. And it's crazy. Those people are crazy. And they're still out there.
You mean the leaders?
Yeah, the leaders.
Yeah, Shalia and Jeff
Yeah.
or whatever?
He is insane.
I haven't seen any of that.
There's one on Netflix. And I was like, the first time Jeff spoke to me like that, I'd be so fucking done.
I know.
I will burn the shit down. I am done.
Like flip the table over.
Yeah.
I would love to see somebody try. Just try with Rachel.
It's
like,
that
just
smile
try.
right there where it just like...
Like, oh, right. She's a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
It's not happening, friend.
No. When she goes alien on everybody.
Matt calls
Yes.
it, I think you'll find. Because when I'm on the phone, he can tell I'm mad when I'll go, I think you'll find. And it means like, I'm right. And we're all going to figure that out by the
Let's
end of this
figure
phone.
out
Yeah.
how I'm right together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's his aggressive assertion of authority
Yeah.
is gross.
Yes.
And it's very, the fact that he doesn't see himself as a predator
Yeah. And is.
like he's preying on people who just want to be loved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is, he doesn't even know he's doing it. Like the lack of self-awareness is crazy. To be so spiritual and in touch, and then to come up with to think that you're the second coming,
Yeah.
to think you're a deity of some sort, and then just immediately go into showing a journalist your new Porsche.
That's a mental illness.
Yeah.
That's gotta be.
I'd call it something else. It's a straight white dude guy. Just a guy, just a mediocre man.
Who's never been told no in his whole life.
And he's just looking for power.
Yep.
Just looking for riches.
That boys will be boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. Anyway, we read a book.
We did read a book.
It wasn't about cults. Kind of was about cults. The Order was a bit of a cult.
kind of.
Yeah, the Order.
It sounds scary.
It's dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting real tired of the bad guy that's just bad because they're a bad person.
I don't, that's kind of what bad guys are.
No,
So
sometimes.
I'm not sure
Wait.
we can get away from.
Sometimes-
You like a good villain where you can almost believe in. You like
Yeah.
Thanos.
You like the
you like
morally
Thanos.
gray.
Yeah,
Thanos.
I like the in my own eyes I'm doing the right thing.
And you
villain.
can almost get on board.
Yeah.
Except for my choice is to murder 2 trillion people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My means are shit. but my ends are understandable.
The ends justify the means guy.
Yeah.
The Machiavellian.
Yeah.
Villain,
I think it's just because I'm reading too many in a row where it's like the young character and then the person in authority is mean to them just because.
I was going to say, you in particular do not do authority in any way. You do not like to be told what to do. Even if I was like, hey, Rachel, can I have this thing? And you're like, yeah, I'll get it to you. And I was like, hey, Rachel, when you get a minute, can I have this thing? Kate, I told you I was going to give you the thing.
Now you're not getting it.
Now you're not getting it. Like, you don't.
I haven't done that in real life. Have I done that to you?
Yeah, it's okay, though. I realized I was being annoying.
Oh, when you were asking for a video?
Yeah.
Oh. I probably wasn't trying to be abrupt.
It's okay. You don't have to apologize. Okay. I was being annoying. I was doing the thing that I don't like. I was saying, let me set the scene. Rachel and I are kind of tag teaming. I'm trying to do some of the Feast, She's, Shatter, like TikTok stuff. It's really hard. It's fine.
It's fine.
I don't know how to brand. That's not who I do.
You just do Kate, and then either other people get it or they don't get it.
Right.
Yeah.
But Rachel makes these really great videos, the reels for Instagram. So I was like, in my mind, like on Canva and things, it's super easy. You already have it downloaded. So she just has to like send it over. But our phones aren't compatible.
Oh.
So in my mind, it's just like a hit send and blah, blah, blah. So hey, send me this when you get a minute. A couple days go by. Hey, if you wouldn't mind, can you send me this when you get a minute? And she's like, yeah, I'll send it soon. And then I think I might have asked you 2 more times. And I realized that it was just like not something, it's not an assignment. I was excited about posting it. And I was like, okay, I'm just reminding you, gentle nudge. You're going to send me this thing. And you did it. And then Rachel was like, Kate, I will send it over when I have a chance. And I was like, I forgot. Sagittarius Rachel does not like. That's why you don't want to work for anybody.
No, I'm not good at it.
I know, and that's okay. You don't have to be. And
we don't want you to be.
I knew in that moment. I was like, I am being annoying, and it's okay.
I don't think I was annoyed.
Maybe not, but I realized like, oh, I am putting a like expectation on you that you aren't ready for and you don't want, and you'll do it when you have time.
Well, sometimes I just don't. Yeah, I haven't had time yet, and I'm letting you know. I remember. I'm gonna get to it.
And I'm just reminding you I don't have it yet.
It's okay.
Yeah, but the authority thing, it is annoying.
Yeah.
It is annoying, and I can see how that is especially annoying for you.
Yeah.
Especially when they're like the worst.
Yeah.
They're meant to inspire rage. And so if you're what is it? Authoritatively defiant.
Pathological demand avoidant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, it's even more so.
Yeah.
And young kids at schools, there's always going to be that character.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
That's why you don't like schools.
And it's when the
you
main,
don't like school
and then
books.
the main character's not
school books.
They just do
Schools, jobs.
Look, I'm a bad employee.
But you're a great boss.
I'm a pretty good boss.
Somebody's got to be the boss.
Yeah.
You're a very fair manager. You have leadership qualities. And so...
but not follower qualities. Oops.
It's okay.
I can do it.
You don't have to do it.
You don't have to because you're in front.
Yeah.
You're a trendsetter on Instagram.
One of the signs of a good leader is someone who can also be led. But you don't have to be in you don't have to be in those roles in your life.
I think you'll find
he always goes,
you do just
no. If you ask him, he'll say that. He'll go, yeah, I think you'll find.
It's such a subtle, smart way.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to use it in the real world.
Let's try to use it this week.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to use
That's
it
our
the
homework.
next time somebody is yelling at me on the phone. I think you'll find
Yeah.
that you are a piece of shit.
And then I'll cry myself to sleep that
you
night.
don't know what you're
You
doing.
just have to stay calm and reasonable after you say it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
think
the
you'll
trick.
find
That's going to be my...
that I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. But I totally get that. And back-to-back books of young adults in colleges.
I think we need to start rethinking YA.
Yeah.
I think we could clear. We could easily just say like YA is not our thing.
It's
we tried
not our
it.
thing.
We
Our
dipped
name is
toe.
literally words that represent sexual acts.
Well, I didn't remember. I didn't know these were YA. They're so
I didn't either.
chunky, and I just thought they were.
And you know what is funny? I do love books like this. Like if it's a fantasy series, I have read it. I've read Sanderson, Rothfuss, like Le Guin, like all the big ones.
Yeah.
I love those stories, but I have in the last year not been in that phase.
Yeah.
Like I think about I want to redo the Stormlight Archives, and I was like, oh, maybe we should do Sanderson, but no way. No fucking way. I'm not going to ask Rachel to do that. But I really do think we should be sticking to like romances.
Well, we almost have to, because the line is between YA and like regular fantasy is so blurry.
Sure.
I can almost understand why we didn't get this was YA right away, because like I read YA, I read elementary fiction. I just finished
Twilight.
And Hannah's favorite series of all time is YA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's fun, but there's like a tone in YA that I'm totally okay with. And then when we start getting like, I'm still YA age, I'm still YA themes, but I'm throwing in these much more like adult fantasy themes. Like I think if she and the other characters had chemistry, but not sexual chemistry, I would have been totally fine with it. But once we started towing the line of sexual chemistry, I have a hard time separating, am I reading a YA book? You know what I mean? Like there's a tone in YA that I look for.
Yeah.
And this had a mature fantasy tone with YA themes. And so that's why to me it felt like, oh my God, I want Selwyn in another book. I want to read a book where he actually gets to be the like shadow daddy love interest, where I am looking forward to the moment where we finally get over the fact that we kind of hate each other, but it's only because we've loved each other this entire time. And I really want you to get together. That's what because that tone was leading me there, and I knew we weren't going to get there. And so to me, it felt like great.
Almost like the frustrations of adolescence.
Yes, but I'm trying to, like Harry Potter has a tone. At no point are you expecting there to
Hermione
be
and Ron to do it.
Never.
Oh, speaking of, well, I'll bring that in another point.
Yeah.
I read Manacled.
The whole thing.
Yep, the whole thing.
Yeah, but I think we just need to make sure we stick to like fantasy that isn't.
I actually have several like really good series that I think that would fit our genre.
And no dark academia.
No.
Rachel.
No dark academia.
Please.
No, and that's like Ninth House. I wouldn't ask you to read that.
Yeah.
I think a couple series that we will really thrive in that are like our shit are the Blood and Steel, which is good fantasy with adult romance. And then A Dark Window. I think you'll really like that book. I know we've brought it up.
Did we talk about doing Blood and Ash?
We did talk about doing Blood and Ash, but right. Blood and Ash is like a 6-book series, while these are like 2-book series.
It's getting a little.
That I think would be.
Was Blood and Ash the one with Poppy?
Yeah,
yes.
Poppy and Castile.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
But I think these other series are newer. They're shorter.
Yeah.
They do what we like. They do what the magic systems are amazing. I really think A Dark Window would be like really, I think everybody would really enjoy it. It's a really good book.
Yeah.
And it does what we like it to do. Not as
often. Gets where we want it to go.
But it's more of a story.
Yeah.
Than it is. There are some fruition moments. But it's a good book.
I read, it was just 2. I think there's a third one, but it kind of goes off with different characters. So really you could just read the first 2. And it was a Kindle Unlimited. And I read it twice because I really liked it. I think you guys might like it.
What is it? You loved it.
I loved it. Bridge.
The Bridge Kingdom.
The Bridge Kingdom.
I've read those. Yeah, I've read those.
They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
They're kind of short.
Yeah, I have read those.
And there's only 2
Sarah.
of them.
Isn't the girl's name Sarah?
Maybe.
Sera?
Yes, yeah.
And it's actually there's 2 books about one couple.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 books about another couple.
Okay, you're right.
And Audible made the Audible books free. They're on their membership.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a great series.
Yeah.
That fits right into our thing. They probably use the words shatter, sheath, and feast.
I think they use all 3.
Constantly.
Feast,
That needs to
shatter.
be the spectrum.
Yeah.
Are these words going to get used in this book?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was good. I think I'm glad we forayed a little bit in October because we got our
And we can still do our smutty ass.
Yeah, we
Monster
got our
short
cozy whatever. I mean, I think
Morning Glory.
It's a good here's our boundings.
Yeah.
Here's our upper bracket of we'll read books that are Minotaur sex.
Yeah.
But maybe we don't read those every month.
No.
Sure.
And then this is the lower boundary of they've got to be not YA. And so now we know here's where we don't want to go below and here's where we don't want to go above.
I really think the spectrum needs to be, are the words in the title of the podcast used the way we mean them to be used in the book?
But we'd have to read them first. If someone wants to volunteer to read them first.
I mean, I feel like the books that I want to cover, I have read and would like to read again. And
Okay.
I just like them because they are so much a part of that romantasy.
Yeah.
One Dark Window, or I think it's One Dark Window, is a great universe with really interesting magic that has some adultness. And then Blood and Steel is fantasy, a lot of the tropes we see before, but with some smutty ass shit, some smut, spicy spice. Actually,
Yeah.
I think smut is a little different, spicy. You know?
Yeah.
I think I'll go on our little Google sheet
Please do.
and make some suggestions because I have not done
The
that
Bridge
yet.
Kingdom is a
because
great book to read.
I'm gonna
That
put
is something
that on
that
there.
a lot of people have read.
You guys are both welcome to
I'm
fill up
just
the sheet.
terrified that
Yeah,
we
don't
read
leave it to me.
something that's
Okay.
terrible
'Cause you're
because I
doing a lot.
suggested it.
Yeah, just do yours and just tell me what to read and I'll
Okay,
read
is that
it.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're doing a lot. But you're okay reading this stuff.
Yeah.
And it will no more schools for a minute.
Give Rachel a school break.
Well,
Because I'm in school in
after-
Iron Flame.
Yeah, after Iron Flame,
Yeah.
we'll take a break from school.
Yeah.
That's
Until we
Kaya.
do a Harry Potter reread. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No.
Or read for the first time.
our first read.
So let me say, Manacled.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was a lot. I feel sad that it can't be edited and actually published because it does so much and is such an adult version. It is so adult and it is so sad and it is so, I mean, I get it now. I was really Draco and Hermione. And then on Thanksgiving, after finishing Manacled, when Harry Potter came on, and there's always Harry Potter's holiday movies now.
Yeah.
I was like, oh damn, it's there's a whole new Harry Potter
Yeah.
because of it. So
Yeah, Harry Potter is a Christmas movie.
it is.
Didn't they come out at Christmas?
I think they did. I
Yeah.
think they were Christmas movies. So were Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings did.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably why I connect them with the holidays then.
Yeah.
Because I remember going to see Lord of the Rings on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Return of the King came out 20 years ago this year.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
2003.
That was 20 years ago?
Yep.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I had to sit through the whole thing and I drank a giant Coke and I had to pee so bad. And I
I
was
had to pee
crying and
so
trying not
bad.
to pee myself at the very end. I was just that's the greatest movie ever. It's the best movie ever.
Those were just really
pee on
good
yourself.
movies.
Oh my God. Those were an
best.
experience.
It is, that doesn't exist anymore.
This
No.
doesn't happen anymore.
Because because now if they did that, I don't want to see it in a movie. I want to see it in a 10-hour show.
Yeah.
nobody's going to put that kind of effort
Into a 3-hour
Into-
movie.
a movie anymore.
And in fact, in all honesty, we did get a Lord of the Rings show. I was like, in all honesty, they'll probably do shows.
Yeah.
They did. Oh, they did. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't want to, it's Harry Potter. They're redoing Harry Potter. And it's going to be a show.
Yeah.
And, when
They
they
were
get
doing
to
Twilight too.
What?
Nice. I'm ready for it. Bring that
What?
shit on. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Should we read Twilight?
Yeah.
I think we should.
I think we should read Twilight.
I think we should
I
read
have
Twilight.
not reread Twilight. in a
I think
long
it'll be
time.
hilarious.
I think it'll be hysterical.
With as many times as you guys tease me with Twilight.
I mean,
probably-
Twilight comes, some of the, if it's one of the series that comes up in our just like everyday life, like Twilight, Harry Potter. I mean, yeah.
I'm upset at the lack of vampires that we're getting in this.
Selwyn is pretty
podcast.
close to a vampire, which is probably why I liked him so much.
Oh, so you
He's
want to read
kind
more
of an
vampires?
energy vampire.
Yeah, we haven't done any vampires. Is
We've not done any vampires?
that true? That can't be
Kate
true.
and I did one vampire book, but it was before you got here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Serpent and the Wings of Night.
Serpent
Oh
and the
yeah,
Wings of Night.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We
Sarah?
haven't done any urban vampires. We've done high fantasy vampires.
Like modern vampires?
Yeah, not high fantasy. We did a high fantasy vampire book where it's like everybody knows vampires exist. We didn't do like a Twilight-ish.
Yeah, let's do Twilight.
Let's do that next
Okay.
year. We'll put it on the list.
Yeah.
Put it on the list.
Because
y'all.
I'm 40 now, so I can't.
And we can read Midnight Sun, the one from Edward's point of view, which I think
I don't ever think I read that.
I keep seeing memes of how it's unintentionally ridiculous.
Oh, really?
Because Edward is such an over the top, like, drama queen.
Wow.
I think I read like a little
So
bit of it, and I was like,
noble.
no.
I told you, I have such an issue with that. I've been thinking about it a lot. My issue with the word noble.
Mm.
And it's because it is this thing that men, more so, put so much emphasis because it's this like thing to aspire to be.
Yeah.
Like you're a good dude.
Yeah.
Versus like, instead of just existing as a good person.
I've heard it. Yeah. I've heard it as like the glass floor. Like we were all talking about the glass ceiling, but I want the glass floor. Like I want to be celebrated because I got up today. I want to make a sandwich and everybody's so thankful and tells me I'm a great mother. Like I don't want to
Right.
I don't want to have to break the ceiling. I want to be as good as a mediocre white man.
Yeah.
And everybody
And
tells
that-
me I'm a good person.
And that's what nobility and the word of noble, that is
Yeah.
what it reminds me of. It's this like, almost this like privilege of integrity
yeah.
that men and knights hold themselves to, when in actuality, it's just a bare minimum.
Yeah. Being a nice person.
Is just a bare minimum.
Yeah.
Instead of being the rapist, like the rapist and the murderers,
Yeah.
I'm a noble guy. I'm a good dude. You know what I mean?
Thank
so
you.
that's why I feel so much like, I don't know. Because I remember when I first said it, you were like, what? What are you talking about? And now I keep rethinking it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
why
I
does the
get
word
that.
noble? Because you'll hear like philosophers, the noble savage. Who came up with that? That's somebody.
Darwin? I don't
Is
know.
it? No,
look it
I think he's older. I think it's older. I think that's like an old idea. I want to say
Aristotle?
no. Is it like Brave New World?
I don't know.
Is it Huxley? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I just don't think, I don't like that word. I just don't. I think it's just such a like fancy word to give to a man
Just-
for doing
yeah.
the bare minimum.
I guess it's from like 1672.
Yeah.
John Dryden.
Okay. But just this idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. That's I've been thinking about it a lot.
That makes sense.
Why it rubs me wrong,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like I feel like I just want to be noble, like like a good person,
Yeah.
like the bare minimum of what people should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to like
And then you want everybody to be happy?
because
For
you're
you?
so noble.
Yeah.
Because you know what I could be doing? I could be raping and murdering people,
And I'm not.
Yeah.
and I'm not. So,
So
I'm holding myself
I want
to
a
such
gold star.
a
gold
high
star, please.
standard.
I'm such a high standard.
I'm not a douchebag. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so noble. Yeah.
Well, I am so excited about our next reads.
Because next month we'll be doing Fourth Wing and Iron Flame.
And I just want to say, we are not a fan cast. And while I do love those books,
Right.
I do have a lot of issues with.
I don't like them.
if they've made it this far
Are you
and they
serious?
No.
I didn't think so. Are you? How far
I was
into?
trying not to be a fangirl.
No. That's
No,
okay. You can fangirl. I
Okay.
love you.
Look, Rachel has a role. Don't take my role.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not,
right.
I'm
You're right.
not, but I'm definitely not on the. This is a perfect book.
Yeah,
For
Like
sure.
I will. That is how I feel about Crescent City.
it's a perfect book.
It to me,
Yeah.
for me, and for my world, and
You
what
love it.
I need for a book. Crescent City is perfect.
Yeah.
That's it. It does everything. In fact, Crescent City is a book that I will, when I am measuring how much of a Kate book is this, I will look to that book because it does everything I ever wanted and more.
I'm glad you found that.
Harry
Thank
Potter.
you.
That's Harry Potter for me.
And that is Crescent City
I'm glad
for
you
me.
found that.
Earth
Do you
and
have
Blood.
that?
Yes, she does. It's called Atlas Shrugged.
I like Atlas Shrugged. Is Atlas Shrugged a perfect book? No.
Could a book be perfect?
I have books that I like to reread that I could reread lots and lots of times. I like Sunshine by Robin McKinley. I think it's over here.
Oh,
So that's your book.
okay.
Yeah.
It's
What
not a
about
great
it?
book.
Okay, so what is
Like
a,
it's not a perfect book.
what does a great Rachel book do?
This one got rebranded as YA,
It did?
and it should not be YA.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're just trying to sell it.
Why was it perfect? I don't know. There's no sex in it. There's one sex scene which really doesn't make sense. And I think she put it in there because she wanted to make it not YA. And it's like the only scene that Matt's ever read. He picked the book up and flipped to it and he was like, what is that? And I was like, the dumbest sex scene ever. Why did you read that part?
Oh no.
Wow, his instincts just took
Yeah.
him to the page.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
But the main characters are like a baker, just like a sweet, like everyday baker, and then like a vampire guy. And they don't get, it's not about getting together. Like they have chemistry, they're friends, but they don't have sexual chemistry.
Okay, so what's the point of the book? No.
I don't know.
Like I mean, like
Yeah.
is it just like a look at two people's lives?
Is it slice of life? Like not really. It's
Is that
kind
what
of-
it's called? I love
Yes.
that you always know what things are called.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like slice of
A
life.
slice of life is what it's called when
yeah,
it's just
when
like
it's just characters and there's
Yeah.
no plot. There's a plot, kind of. I guess it's sort of slice of life, just like her growing into somebody bigger than she was before and kind of accepting all the parts of herself that she hadn't even thought about in a long time. It's kind of like I don't
coming
know.
of age.
I don't know, because Leah reads it too. Every once in a while, she'll borrow it and read it. And she's like, "Why do we love this book so much?" I'm like, "I have no idea. I just really like that book."
I just thought of another book that I'm going to add to the list.
What?
I can't think of the name right now.
You must have loved it.
And I've read other
Yeah.
Robin McKinley, and I don't like Robin McKinley's books.
So
I only
it's just,
like
is there
that book.
nostalgia associated with that book for
I
you?
don't think so. I don't know. If you're just like you read Crescent City and you were just like, I just love this book.
Yeah, everything that it does, it is perfect for me.
Yeah.
But I came, yeah, and it took me a minute to get into it. But after rereading, after my statistics, after rereading every one of these series more than several times, that book for me is the one. And my favorite character of all of them is in it, but my favorite couple isn't. You know?
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
favorite couple is probably Cassian and Nesta or Lead and Lorcan.
Yeah.
But, Bryce and Hunt aren't my favorite. But there's the way the book works, the thing the book
Yeah.
does is my favorite.
Yeah.
It is a long book that does so much.
And I think we talked about this last time where Sarah J. Maas really shines is when she has a couple of characters that she gets to just let you live with.
Yeah.
That's her. That is really where you can tell, like, she is an extremely good writer when she's got like a couple of couples and some side characters.
Yes.
And once she starts trying to move armies around, it's okay, but it's not her thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe it's something that she's still developing.
Yeah.
But this is a fully developed, grown-up ass Sarah J. Maas.
Yep.
Another thing
Doing
is
what she does best.
doing what she does best. Also, Sarah J. Maas has been in therapy and healed. She is a healed person, and she tries to come at these characters with some emotional maturity and
Yeah.
like understanding, like, this is a sick party girl, but this is where we need to go.
Yeah.
Her relationships try and be healthy, even though there's always a lot of drama because the stakes are so high. And that is not something that I think Rebecca Yarros does. And that is what I want to talk about next time.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about it too.
I don't think Rebecca Yarros has ever been in therapy. And I think it shows in some of the way that she portrays her characters' relationships.
She doesn't know how to scale up and down stakes. We didn't come to low stakes and then get to high stakes. We just went straight to death.
Well, and what's
death, and we're like strangely okay with it.
Yeah.
The normalization of the high stakes, but it sometimes it's sad and other times it's like, meh.
Yeah.
Don't care. Yeah.
We're all about to die.
Always.
Let's eat this chocolate cake.
Okay. I don't want you to feel sad.
I will not be sad about it.
Okay.
I don't feel about these books the way I feel about Crescent City, ACOTAR,
Throne of Glass,
Harry Potter.
ACOTAR.
ACOTAR.
Did I do it again?
Yeah.
ACOTAR.
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay. ACOTAR.
We have our in jokes. I had to throw that in there.
Yeah. ACOTAR. Ardalarn.
Well, I guess. Oh, we hadn't wheezed all podcast.
I don't know. We started with the wheeze. Otterland.
I don't know why that gets me.
Ardalarn. Kate, it's Otter Land.
Well, I sent her the reel with the otters. Otterland. Otterland.
Ardalarn. All right. I've peed.
Woo!
And on that note,
see ya.
until next time, friends.
Goodbye.
Bye. Okay, bye.
Is it hot in here or is it just me? Tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety. Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us? Or is that a dagger? It's feast, sheath, shatter. It's feast, sheath, shatter.
Hi,
It's
I'm
me.
Kate.
I got nothing.
I've been wondering
If
after all these years you'd like to meet to go over. Hello from.
How was that?
Was that it? Did I hit it? Well, am I Adele?
Am I pretty much Adele?
Hello.
Hello. It's me. Oh, there we go.
What did you do?
Plugged into slot 4 instead of slot 3.
Well, you only plugged it in.
Yeah, I got extension cords for the headphones.
Are y'all fighting?
Is this a fight?
Is this a fight?
For the mics.
Is this a fated mates fight?
Is this a fated mates fight? Fated mates to the back.
fight?
So it'll feel normal.
Make me feel better about my life.
All right.
Sorry, Rach. I don't really want you
Not
to fight.
sorry at all. I'm the only one who read the book. Now I'm getting yelled at.
I tried.
Thank you for trying.